Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Catalyst webinar series presented by the Education Committee for the Southern California PGA. The Catalyst webinar series is a bi-weekly educational platform for creating success and change in your club and career. We're very excited to have Stefanie Dumont, executive coach and Heart Math certified trainer. She's being joined along with her husband, Bennett Lewis. So for over 2 decades, Stefanie has fueled the success of diverse clientele, from gold medal winning Olympic athletes to philanthropic driven CEOs, leading physicians and elite professionals, seamlessly translating dreams into daily victories. As a Heart Math certified trainer, she pioneers intelligent emotional management, offering tools for rapid physiological optimism in under 2 minutes. Co-founder of Conscious and Carefree, Stefanie is a sought after media guest and #1 Amazon best-selling author of Yes First, Take Action in Uncertain Times. A golf enthusiast in her own right, she blends her passion with a deep understanding of human potential, creating transformative experiences in sports and life. Good morning, Stefanie. Thank you
Good morning.
for joining us on the Catalyst webinar series. We're excited to have you on this learning session, teaching us about Heart Math golf.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you, John.
Are you in Southern California?
I'm in coastal SoCal. I'm in a little beautiful beach city called Cardiff by the Sea.
Okay.
So I'm down in the North County area of San Diego, bordering Del Mar and Solana Beach and La Jolla. So it's paradise. I'll tell you that.
A lot of good golf courses down there for sure. And Mr. Lewis, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing fantastic.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot there. I think, Mr. Lewis, you guys are a couple, correct?
Yes, husband and wife for many years, very happily.
Excellent. And Mr. Bennett's going to be, Mr. Lewis is going to be driving the PowerPoint this morning, I think. And so we've got an interactive session here for all the PGA members and associates that are joining us on this morning's webinar. Stefanie is going to take us through a presentation on Heart Math golf, and feel free to exercise the chat bar, raise your hand. We want to make this as interactive as possible and ask a lot of questions, and let's learn about Heart Math.
Awesome. So again, I just want to thank you all for being here this morning on this very early, beautiful Thursday morning. I feel honored to partner with the SoCal PGA, and I want to take a second and thank Heidi Richardson for introducing me to Amberlynn Dorsey and the SoCal PGA. And I absolutely love how you guys help underprivileged youth, how you donate equipment and teach confidence through golf to the juniors. I think it's very, very important, and I think it can help them to succeed in their life's journey. So as John said, I'd love this to be interactive today. Most of the work I do is in workshop, and I want this to be as geared towards you as possible, not just me giving you information, but today we're actually having you apply this information to both your game and your life. So I want to leave you with tools that you can apply immediately. So my father was dean of a leading hospital in the state of California and an avid golfer. And my father was very difficult and angry, and everything set him off. And unfortunately, he ended up having heart attack after heart attack. And I ended up naming him Morris the Cat, because it truly seemed like he had 9 lives. And when I finally got old enough to have enough courage, I asked my dad if he could, calm himself down a little bit. And he told me very angrily, "You know what, Stefanie, a tiger can't change his stripes." Okay, so that was my father's motto. Type A personality, brilliant businessman, and just spouted off at everything. So after studying Heart Math and learning about its abilities, I know that not being able to change your stripes is absolutely untrue. But most of us are never taught how. 5 minutes of anger that you have in your body releases cortisol for over 5 hours in your body. So have any of you ever played with somebody who gets angry? Or perhaps is that you? And how difficult is it to keep your composure or stay calm when around anger or stressful situations? So today I'm going to talk about building resilience, transforming stress, helping you achieve flow, and optimizing performance through coherence. This is going to improve your health and well-being as well. What you learn today, if practiced, could very well add years to your life in addition to improving your game. Now, today I'm going to show you some things that you can take control of, both on and off the course. So HeartMath is a collection of techniques, research, and technology that brings years of research on the connection between the heart, the brain, and improved performance. Coherence, which we're going to talk about in detail today, and some of you may know about it already, is alignment between your heart, your brain, and your emotions. Also, all of your systems, your hormonal system, your nervous system. There have been over 400 studies done now in HeartMath. And today, we're still just learning how our daily feelings and emotions affect our bodies, our lives, our flow, and our health. So all of you have a cell phone. And I want you to become aware of energy leaks in your relationship with golf. And I want you to learn how to charge your inner battery, just like we charge our cell phone. Now, when you wake up in the morning, your phone is fully charged, right? As is your inner battery in good health and after a good night's sleep. We all have a very distinct energy cycle each day. And we know how much battery is left on our phone. However, we're not aware of how we subconsciously leak our energy, both in our game and throughout our day. Have you ever showed up to play golf completely exhausted? It's difficult, right? Imagine knowing how to charge your inner battery in 2 minutes and to keep it from depleting. Imagine knowing how to have better focus, decision-making, and stamina during games and tournaments. So most of our energy leaks are subconscious, and they've been happening to us for years. And we've just never been taught that energy renewal is possible, other than perhaps diet and exercise. So how many of you experience stress on a daily basis? Yeah. You're probably saying, is this a trick question? Most of us, if not all of us, experience stress on a daily basis, okay? And our stress has actually increased since COVID. It seems that we're more vulnerable and more susceptible to stress these days. And we're experiencing the stress of our family, of our friends, of our community, and my gosh, the world is really a challenging place right now. So as much as we would not like to take that into our bodies, it's very difficult for us not to, unless we're in coherence.
So Stefanie, do you think that that has escalated more since COVID? Because during COVID, we weren't stressed. And so therefore we kind of got out of sequence of being stressed all the time. Why has there been an uptick in stress since the pandemic?
I feel like in regards to the pandemic, I feel like we had more stress, even though we weren't necessarily working every day or going out of our homes. I think people were fearful about what were happening to their family members and outside. I think there was a great deal of uncertainty when it came to business and commerce. And so I think it went up during COVID and even the time we're in lockdown. And I think that we have not processed it. I think that we're just going about things as normal. And a lot of people are experiencing anxiousness and anxiety and a little bit of trauma on a daily basis. And we've just gotten used to it. So we've just, like I said, when we're leaking our energy, it's been happening for years. And a lot of the stress we're feeling is unconscious. And so what I'm here to do today is to help all the pro golfers that are on this call and whoever is going to watch. I'm here to teach them about, where is their energy leaking during a normal day, and how are they taking this into their game, into their tournaments. So that's my take on it, is we've never really dealt with it. So it's still there and we're still dealing with it. So I want to ask the people here today, and if you would please just jot in the chat, what energy leaks do you experience on the course? So I'm going to self-disclose 2 of my energy leaks. One of mine is super slow players. It absolutely used to drive me crazy. And also when players were waiting on us at the tee box, I would feel myself start to get anxious. And so these are things I've been able to overcome through heart-based breathing.
What
But
about just extreme poor shot making?
Yeah, for
Happens
sure, that is stressful.
majority of the time.
100%. That is very, very stressful. And we're going to actually talk about that. And I'm going to show you a short video clip about that, John, in just a couple of minutes. You're like going ahead of me. So I just want to ask you to become aware, what energy leaks do you experience on the course? All right, so some of them, just like John just mentioned, impatience. I don't know about you guys, that's been an issue of mine. Rushing, let's say you get to the course and you're late and everybody's at the tee box, it's the worst. Overreacting to a shot, your ball goes into the trees, or just, I call it angry playing. Holding on to a bad round, like not being able to start your next round because you just experienced a bad one, you're still holding on to it, you're still having those feelings in your body, or perhaps even just losing a ball, like hitting it into the trees, or you're on a giant course and you just can't find your ball, okay? So I just want you to take note of these things. So my next question for you guys is, how do you currently manage stress during your game? And again, if you would share in the chat, I would love it. Even if you're not using these techniques, I'd love for you to share it in the chat. So some of us use the goldfish method, which is, just forget something that you did 3 seconds ago. Cursing out loud is another way that currently people manage stress on the course. And also one of the things I view almost on a regular basis on the course is people yelling at themselves in third person. So I don't know if any of you have any of these wonderful habits, but this is part of your coping mechanism for stress. So I'd like for you to look at what happens to you when you feel stress on the course, and where do you feel it in your body? All right, so again, I'd love for you to share in the chat. Muscle tension is an obvious thing, headaches. Some people start to argue when they're under stress and have anxiety. Obviously, poor performance. And again, we mentioned cursing out loud, which is an all-time favorite on the course. So some of you may know Laird Small. He is one of the top instructors in the nation up at Pebble Beach. He is actually a friend of mine. And Laird says that all golfers get in their own way emotionally. This is a true statement. So again, one last thing is I just want to ask you, what techniques have you learned to manage your emotions on the course? Because we can't always go for a hike or go into meditation for 20 minutes or, lay down on the green and do yoga. It's just not possible. So I just want to pass that on for now. So Tiger Woods made his worst score ever on a hole in his professional career, a 10 at Augusta National's 12th hole par 3 during the final round of the Masters in 2020. Now, I'd like you to think about, how would you react if this sequence of shots was happening to you during a tournament? And there it goes again, spinning back into the water. Has this ever happened to you? So I want you to look at Tiger's body language. How is he feeling right now? Not so good. So Tiger's skill is that he is a master of resilience. So I want to ask you this: would you be able to recover and hit 5 birdies on your last 6 holes after scoring a 10? Poor Tiger. All righty. So next I want to ask you, what does resilience mean to you when playing golf? And if you would answer in the chat, what does resilience mean to you when playing golf? So the HeartMath Institute defines resilience as the ability to prepare for, adapt, and recover from stress. So when you increase your resilience, which is what I'm going to be teaching you to do today, you optimize your performance. So how many of you are interested in learning to increase your energy, your health and well-being, and consistently improve your performance on the course? I'm assuming most of you. So energy renewal is possible. And right now, I'm going to introduce you to the heart. Yeah. John, did you have something?
No, I just was getting some texts from some friends that said the chat was disabled. So I went through and I allowed Steve Monday. Are you there? Can you hear us? I went through and I clicked on everybody to allow them to talk. I don't know if that addressed the
chat issue.
The chat issue. Steve,
Okay.
John, I can hear you.
Okay.
And I can talk. So.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Steve.
I think, yeah. So I think everybody, I just went through and said allow to talk. So that means they could chat, correct?
Okay, let's see if maybe somebody, Steve, can you write something in the chat and see if it shows up for us?
John, you have the chat disabled. You can, I can talk, but I can't use the chat box.
How do I, real quickly, how do I, I've never done that before. How do I enable it?
That's a great question. Let me see if I can figure that out for you.
I've never disabled the chat. So if I'm doing it, I don't know that I'm doing it.
Why don't you keep going, Stephanie, and I'll see if I could figure this out.
That sounds great. I really appreciate it because I don't want to waste everybody's time too. So right now, I'm going to take you straight into the first technique that I'm going to teach you today. And this is called the heart-based breathing technique. There's no better way for me to explain this than to actually show you. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have you focus on your heart or chest area when you are breathing. Now, you're even welcome to put your hand over your heart if that helps you more. So heart-based breathing is circular breathing. It's just simply in through your nose for 5 seconds and out through your nose for 5 seconds. Okay, so understand this is not stomach breathing, it's not yoga breathing, it's not box breathing where you're holding your breath or any other type. Heart-based breathing is super simple, in through your nose, out through your nose for 5 seconds.
That's working.
Okay, awesome. And breathing through your heart. Yay. Hi, Keith from La Jolla. I'm so excited to have you. All right. And so heart-based breathing helps you build your capacity to handle stress. It helps you improve your health. It helps you focus and concentrate while increasing your energy. So right now, I'm going to take you through the heart-based breathing technique. So I'd love for you, if you have a pen and a piece of paper in your hand, please put it down. And I'd love for you to sit straight up in your chair, put your feet flat on the floor. If you want to, you can put your hand over your heart since we're not on screen. And feel free to close your eyes now and just begin to breathe naturally. And I'd love for you to focus your attention in the area of your heart. Imagine your breath is flowing in and out of your heart or chest area. Breathing a little slower and a little deeper than usual. Find an easy rhythm that's comfortable for you. I'd like you to continue focusing on your heart and doing heart-based breathing for approximately 2 minutes. In through your heart, out through your heart. And I'll tell you when it's time.
Yeah, I just sent it.
Like making me overheat.
And when you're ready, feel free to open your eyes. So I would love to know, and if you would, if we can, if the chat has been enabled, I would love if you could answer in the chat. What did you notice? Were you able to breathe in and out of your heart or chest? Do you feel a little more positive, for example? Do you feel a little more alert? Awesome. So we have some people say that they felt things start to slow down, feeling a little more alert, felt a lot more relaxed. It's pretty amazing what can happen in 2 minutes, right? Heart-based breathing is extremely powerful. All right. So I would love for you to grab your paper and pen now. I'm going to have you write this little grid, super easy. Just going to write a line down the top of the page, a vertical line, then a line across the center of the page, a horizontal line. And I want you to have 4 quadrants. And I'm going to introduce you to the depletion to renewal grid. Now, honestly, if you got nothing else from me today except understanding and learning what this grid is and where you are in the grid, I've done my job. It's an extremely valuable tool. All right, so now I'm going to have you put some emotions in the top left-hand quadrant of the grid. I'd love for you to write the words anger, frustration, and overwhelm. On the bottom left-hand corner of the grid, I want you to write the terms sad, hopeless, and disheartened. Then on the upper right-hand side of the grid, I'd like for you to write enthusiastic, passionate, and courageous. And on the bottom right side of the grid, I'd like for you to write the words appreciative, calm, and balanced. So take a look at this grid for a moment and then answer for me, either on your paper or in the chat, if you're so bold. Where do you reside? In which quadrant do you spend most of your time while you're playing golf? And I honestly believe that golf is very similar to life. So if you are living in a certain quadrant when you're on the course, you may be also spending a lot of time in that quadrant when you're off the course. So what I'd like to have you do right now is I'd like to have you choose one or two more emotions for each quadrant that you experience on the course on a regular basis. Now, if the emotions are already up there that you experience on a regular basis on the course, go ahead, just circle them. Thank you, Jean. I really appreciate your honesty. That's awesome. Top left. Yeah, so I just want you to become aware which emotions you spend the most time feeling during a game or even in your daily life. With regular coherence breathing practice, you can change daily where you live. Now, I also want to ask you, which quadrant would you most like to reside in? Where would you like to spend most of your time? And I'd like you to just ponder that for a second now. So on the left side of the grid, you release the stress hormone cortisol into your body. And cortisol contributes to something called cortical inhibition, which actually removes our ability to make good decisions, to take inspired action, to prepare for and recover from unexpected stress. And it has negative effects on your health. Okay, that's the left side of the grid. On the right side of the grid, those positive emotions release DHEA, the longevity and youth hormone, and your health and well-being increases. Spending time in getting used to changing your underlying patterns on then staying on the right side of the grid has been known to lower blood pressure, to diffuse anxiety, and just within the last few months, there was a study out that it was helping to reduce Alzheimer's, which is huge. So being in coherence and practicing heart-based breathing was helping to reduce symptoms of Alzheimer's as well. It's very, very powerful. So next I want to introduce you to the coherence iceberg. And I want you to look at the first thing, the foundation of the iceberg is our physiology. Our physiology is the foundation. It's the edge of what we understand. And everything that happens to us stems from our physiology. So our physiology creates our emotions that affects how we're feeling, that impacts what we're thinking and how we're thinking. It affects our behavior. and that creates the results. So again, this is a super powerful tool for you to understand and jot down right now. But physiology, I believe, is somewhat of the final frontier because it's virtually untapped right now. So we're taught to think positively, to speak positively, to have good intentions, but we're not taught how to manage or change our emotions. And most people, like my father, don't even think you can. They think that how they feel is in the cards that they are dealt. What astounded me was that you can think positive thoughts and still release cortisol into your body at the same time. Now, I never knew this was possible, but we release cortisol when we're impatient and hopeless. How many times are we impatient on the golf course? Now, I didn't know that we could release cortisol with mundane emotions, but apparently we can. So again, there's no better way for me to explain to you how to practice coherence breathing than to do this process with you. So I'm going to introduce you now to the second technique, and this is called the quick coherence technique. But before we do this, I would like you to spend a moment, choose a recent victory that you had with golf, an incredible shot, for example, or some kind of an achievement that you've had in a tournament or on the course. So again, choose a recent victory. Yes, Ryan, your breathing alters your physiology, 100%. So again, I just want you to think about a victory you've had, a shot, or an achievement. Now, if you can't come up with something off the top of your head, go ahead and choose a positive feeling that you want to experience more often on the course. All right. So I'm going to take you through this technique now. I'd love for you to put down your piece of paper and pen. And again, put your feet flat on the floor, sit straight up in your chair. And I want to welcome you to close your eyes and just begin to breathe naturally. And I'd love for you to focus your attention in the area of your heart. Imagine your breath is flowing in and out of your heart or chest area. Breathing a little slower and a little deeper than usual. Find an easy rhythm that's comfortable for you. As you continue heart-focused breathing in and out of your heart or chest area, I'd like for you to focus on the victory that you had or an incredible shot that you experienced or an achievement. And I want you to feel that victory in your body. What did it feel like when you had that incredible shot? And if this is difficult, just choose a positive feeling that you want to experience more often on the course. We're going to focus on this feeling as we continue heart-based breathing for 2 minutes, and I'll tell you when it's time. And when you're ready, feel free to open your eyes. So again, I'm curious to know two things. Again, you're welcome to put it in the chat if you'd like, and if not, just jot it down on your paper. But I'd love to know what you focused on. What did you choose as your achievement or your victory? The powerful thing about coherence is that you can choose the same experience over and over again when you do the heart-based breathing. So what's very important about heart math is this is a two-step process. It is not just the heart-based breathing that brings us into coherence. It's also our focus on those positive emotions on the right side of the grid. So when we do a technique like quick coherence, it's very powerful for us to, you can even choose somebody that you feel love for or appreciation for, and focus on that love and appreciation for 2 minutes can bring all of your systems into alignment. And it brings your heart in alignment with your brain, which produces your attitudes, your feelings, and your emotions every day on the course and off. So there are very few things that we can actually control under pressure. But you can practice coherence and you can build resilience daily. Think of how this application can help during critical moments or help you maintain a positive physiology under pressure. Again, I want to remind you that coherence practice, like we just did twice today, is cumulative. It has the power and the ability to change your old baselines of behavior that you have been subconsciously holding yourself back, subconsciously sabotaging yourself with for years and years and years. I myself have experienced dramatic shifts in my baseline behaviors, and a lot of them I didn't even know. So Tiger said that the players who learn the emotional game, and the emotional game is the physiology game, will be at the top of their industry. And I want to show you one last thing. When we talk about physiology, it's almost impossible for us not to talk about heart rate variability. I'm sure many of you have heard of HRV. It is getting actually quite popular right now, finally. But our heart rate variability affects our physiology, which puts us into coherence. So I just want to go over this graph very quickly. This was actually the same person that was measured twice. And the first time they were measuring the heart rate variability, this person was feeling frustrated and was upset. And so when we are frustrated and upset or impatient or any of the other negative emotions we talked about today, your heart actually sends jagged and sharp signals to your brain, which produces negative emotions, negative feelings, and negative affect. Okay? That's out of coherence on the left side. On the right side of the grid, the same person was asked to experience appreciation. And they focused on appreciation for a number of minutes. And when you focus on appreciation or calm or patience or any of the other positive emotions we talked about today, your heart sends smooth wave-like signals to your brain. And that creates positive feelings, emotions, and results. It allows us better decision-making, better precision, better choices at that time. And again, on the left side of the grid, it inhibits our brain function and impairs our performance when we're having these negative emotions. And then on the right side, it enhances our performance. And it actually puts us in a place where we're able to experience very high qualities that we don't normally experience, such as honor and dignity and gratitude, things that we want to experience more every day, whether we're on the course or off. So I just want to review very quickly today some of the benefits that you received here. The first thing is we went over 2 techniques for coherence that you can apply immediately. The heart-based breathing technique, which is the most basic one, and also the quick coherence technique. I also taught you about the depletion to renewal grid for where you want to reside and where you don't want to reside, and what's happening to you when you're experiencing a negative state. We talked about resilience, and you can practice resilience through heart-based breathing before you play, during your play, or you can make heart-based breathing part of your pre-shot routine. This is something that I do. I don't do it for 2 minutes, but I do take a few heart-based breaths in part of my setup routine. So you can practice heart-based breathing and quick coherence techniques daily to bring yourself into coherence. So, oh, I love that. Nicholas, gratitude is huge. You don't have to play golf. You get to play golf. Oh my gosh, love this. This is so true. It is the key. Thank you for sharing that, Nicholas. So if you have enjoyed what you learned today and you want to know more, specifically in relationship to yourself, I want to invite you to, I'm leading a 6-week live online Zoom course in January, in the new year, setting your new year in coherence, and then understanding what's going to happen to you from there. So from January 11th to February 15th, and the 6-week Zoom course is going to be tailored to address your specific needs and your challenges as a professional golfer. And in addition to that, you're going to get this fantastic tool. This is a heart rate variability monitor. And this, take off my earring here. The one half of the monitor very simply attaches to your earlobe. And then the bottom piece just plugs into your phone. And then the Inner Balance app shows up immediately. So this helps you gamify your whole experience of going into coherence. You're able to practice. There's a breathing medallion that you can breathe with to help to bring you into deeper coherence. And it measures whether your coherence level was, low or whether you were high and what was happening for you, and also how long you were able to stay in coherence. And again, this is cumulative. So you're able to see like how you're doing and the progress you're making. And you're even able to increase the difficulty in this app. So this is it's like an accountability buddy. And it's also a way to increase your health and well-being. At the same time, you are increasing your resilience and your coherence and your performance on the course. So I would love to invite you to this. And as a member of the SoCal PGA, you are getting $100 off. And I have a little early bird special that I'm running to the end of December. If you register before the end of December, you get the tax benefits of 2023 and you get to bring it into the glory of 2024 and learning coherence, you get an additional $100 off if you do the early bird. So I would love to see you there. Bring your buddy or your spouse if you're golfing with them, or perhaps introduce this to your foursome and have you all learn coherence together. So I want to know if you guys would please type in the chat, what did you get today? What's a gem that you're taking home with you? What was a highlight for you that stuck with you? And I want to thank you for coming. And I just want you to imagine the possibilities available in adding HeartMath Golf to your golfing journey in 2024. So I want to thank you. Thank you so much, John. And I think we're going to go to a quick little Q&A.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Stefanie, and
Sure.
also Bennett. Fantastic. I do have some questions here.
Sure.
When did you start to make the connection between HeartMath and the game of golf?
I made the connection actually when I was becoming certified several years ago. I've been an executive coach for 20 years, and as it said in my bio, I have worked with athletes. I've worked for 8 years with an Olympic gold medal champion, and I realize that changing our state, changing our physiology, has the ability to put us into the zone. Right? When you see the best players that are on the field, they are managing their emotions and they are actually able to put themselves into coherence. So when I was becoming certified in HeartMath, I got this idea. We had a pro golfer that was in our cohort. And as he was talking, I was like, oh my gosh, this would be so incredible for golfers to learn to manage their emotions. It's the most important thing they can do. So that's when it came to me, and I just followed it. I also absolutely love working with cutting edge and leading edge athletes. It's one of my favorite things to do. Human potential is my life's work. And so when somebody is really great at what they're doing, my job is to help make them better.
Now, in terms of finding ways to produce more cortisol, is there any dietary suggestions that could entertain that in a better way that'll be in a positive manner?
Well, anytime you're eating a balanced diet, anytime you're getting rid of like white sugars, white flours, excessive dairy. So things like that could very much help you to reduce cortisol. Obviously, too much alcohol, I would say, which is not a very popular one, but and also perhaps not too much coffee. You can have it's been shown beneficial to have a certain amount of coffee, but not necessarily too much. So I would just say eating a clean diet helps you reduce cortisol in your body. But like I said earlier, even if you are eating well, if you're still holding on to these emotions like subconsciously that you've been experiencing for years, it may help. However, learning coherence breathing on a regular basis could help you as much as eating a beneficial diet, to be honest.
Now, so much is to be said on the golf course for routine-based behavior. What if the release of cortisol is part of that routine? Some people are nervous players, and that's their benefit because that's how they've always done it, and that's part of their routine. That's what makes them consistent.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And so I was just going to say, it's totally natural for us to have cortisol in our bodies. What we want to avoid is having too much or the wrong kind of cortisol. The ones coming from, like when I mentioned at the beginning of my talk, that if we feel anger for just a couple of minutes, we are radiating cortisol into our body for up to 5 hours. So really the upper left quadrant is the most dangerous place for us to be. So spending a lot of time there. And I understand that certain golfers, benefit from having stress. I mean, all of us do. The question is, how long are they feeling that? And what type of stress are they experiencing in their body?
Fantastic. Any more questions from the field? Stefanie, we ended up getting 52.
Okay, great.
Exactly. I think we do have more than 70 registered, but on the live webcast, we did have 52.
Awesome.
So on behalf
I'm very happy. I just hope everybody have, benefited today and has some tools and techniques they can take with them. And again, if you would spread the word about having other people watch the replay, like any friends that you have to watch the replay, and even sharing these techniques with your family members, it changes lives. It's very, very powerful work.
Indeed. And Mr. Lewis, thank you very much for the explanation on the chat right there. I think it's worth reading. Adrenaline increases cortisol. Some cortisol is very good for performance, but when we're on the course, this is rarely, if ever, a time when you don't have enough adrenaline or cortisol.
Mhm.
I lost the last piece of that.
It just says heart math helps regulate this and produce other beneficial hormones, such as the DHEA that I mentioned, which further improves your performance. So it won't take away the beneficial performance that you already have, or like you said, the adrenaline that people are using to play well. It's only going to enhance that. It's not going to take it away. It's not like meditation where you're putting yourself into a calm, relaxed state where you're going to, go to sleep or go into some kind of theta. This is a little more, it makes you more alert and a little more energized. And like I said, it just makes you clear. So it has tons and tons of benefits. So if anything, it will add to your performance. It's not going to remove anything from it that's working.
Okay, fantastic. For all the PGA members that are on this morning's webcast, you will receive 1 PDR credit for going through the Heart Math Golf Catalyst. Stefanie, on behalf of the Education Committee, thank you so much for coming on the Catalyst webinar and presenting on Heart Math Golf. We will be emailing out the YouTube recording of this morning's webcast along with Stefanie's contact information, as well as the attendees that weren't able to make the live webcast. They will also get the Zoom recording. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you very much for supporting the Catalyst. Stefanie Dumont, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being here, everybody. It's an honor.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Thank you, John. Bye-bye.